bro. Find a way to put
Dude,
it.
we're going
somewhere.
live. You're just talking.
Just put it in there somewhere.
What a way to start the live stream.
We're back. Wessel is an absolute buffoon. I don't know what you were trying to do there. But whatever it was, wasn't
Get
good.
more views if you put Joey Logano in the. Not Joey Logano, sorry. Bubba
Bubba
Wallace in the title. Yeah.
We title anything Bubba Wallace and we get triple the views we normally do. What do you want me to say? The 2022 CFRL Bubba Wallace Award ceremony?
Who's going to get the Bubba Wallace Award?
What would that have to be? Like, what?
I don't know.
That
What are the parameters?
this is a slippery slope you're trying to go down.
It is, and I'm going to stop.
So I think you're going to backtrack. Yeah, as you should, honestly. Somebody's got some. Tegan's got an event going on.
What's going on?
I muted him, but he has an event. Something's happening.
He's got.
There's an event in his room.
Oh man.
Welcome back, Sir Ryan.
Hey Tegan, what was that all about?
Nothing coming in, bumming money.
Little bow wow.
Yeah.
All right.
No, too soon.
Who's watching it? Somebody started watching our live stream. That's Tegan. I see him over there. He's not slick. Look at him. He's doing something. This guy's not slick. Look at him. He's plotting something.
I gotta make our views look good. I'm trying to be the one viewer for the night.
All right. So we're gonna leave you in a little suspense about the award ceremony. Because we're going to grade every NASCAR Cup Series driver's season first. We're going to go through the list, in order of points, and we're going to give our rankings on an A to F scale on how drivers did this season and why. I mean, the explanation's not to be long, but give some reasons why. So we're going to start off with the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Joey Logano, who I'm going to give an A+. I mean, winning the championship really guarantees you an automatic A+. He had a solid season, won the LA Coliseum, which is a big race, then won Gateway, Darlington, Vegas, and then the championship race at Phoenix. Joey Logano, A+ season from him. And then the order we'll go in for this will be just how it is. We'll go top and then bottom. So, Ryan.
Yeah, Logano had an A+ season. I mean, the championship really kind of solidified that A+ season. He was consistent for most of the year, if not throughout the whole year. And then his wins also kind of add on top of that, too. I mean, A+ season for Joey Logano on that team.
I feel like you can't not give the champion an A+. I mean, it's kind of a given. But, it was an incredible season from start to finish. Won the first race, won the last race, and the championship. So it's good for him.
Matt?
No, it's going to me. I didn't know which one of us was going first. Yeah, it's fine. It's good.
How do you read a book?
Oh, well, right.
That was
You're right.
That's what I was thinking too.
That makes sense. I'd give Logano an A+ rating.
Shocker.
One of us on this podcast is smarter than the rest, I would think.
I picked Joey
based off predictions. But
you picked Joey at the end.
I picked Joey from the very beginning. Thank you. No, just being able to cap off a championship on what was already a solid season. One thing that I think he did really well this year that helped him was he was really good at gaining points in races that he didn't finish well in. Like in the races that he didn't finish well in, he still was able to get like 30 plus points almost all those races, which is something that I think Harvick did a really good job of a few years ago. Is like he was do really good at getting points at like in being in the points for the stages, and then all of a sudden he just appear in stage 3 and just automatic and just like rack up top 3 or top 5 finishes. So I would give Logano an A+ based off that.
I mean, I gave him an A+ too. He's my only A+. So championship to me deserves A+. He didn't back into it. He kind of earned it there at the end. make sure he scored those points and stuff and that win to make it. So, yeah, he's definitely got an A+ for me. It's simple as that. He's champion. He gets the A+.
All right, next up, the guy that finished second in points, it is Ross Chastain. Really came out of obscurity. Had a decent season at Chip Ganassi last year, but absolutely broke out of his shell with 2 wins at Coda and Talladega this year. Ross Chastain is a big fat A+ for me as well. There's no way in my eyes you can't give Ross Chastain an A+. I mean, the only way I can look at it is if you consider his on-track incidents, which are definitely a negative potential that people would look at him as. But his season was just so strong. It was such a breakout. It came out of nowhere. Ross Chastain, A+ for me, 100%.
I mean, I'm going to give him an A just due to the fact of his on-track incidents. But overall, he was but if you get rid of that, overall, he was very good overall. And then the Martinsville move just made NASCAR on social media pop off. So, I mean, he's a figure that's kind of getting NASCAR into the spotlight again. You can see him. And, I mean, at one point after Indy, we were literally saying he was turning into a heel on the racetrack with how he was acting and all that after what happened at Indy. So, I mean, he's really starting to become a figure that you're noticing now. So, definitely an A.
Just an A, not an A+?
Just because of the on-track incidents.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Ryan there. I think I'm going to give him an A also because of on-track incidents. I mean, he did what he had to do. He got where he needed to be, and it worked out for him. I don't think anybody at all this year would have predicted Ross Chastain in the Final Four, and especially being able to contend for the championship.
How many people would put him in the playoffs, honestly?
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, this is an A for Ross Chastain, and it is 130% for Trackhouse this year. Like, that team came out and shocked the world this year.
I'm going to give Chastain an A+. These will be my only 2 A+, but I'm going to give him an A+ just based off of the season he had this year compared to the season he had last year. Like, this man just went off, and Trackhouse as a team just went bonkers this year with him and Suarez winning a race. Well, Suarez was only able to win the one race, but Chastain winning races, and then you just see the boost he had. I could definitely see why some people wouldn't give him an A+, just based off of how he ran earlier in the year. I think as the year went on, he ran better. Like, he was trying not to agitate people because I think he realized that, oh shit, if I just keep on agitating these guys, they're just going to boot me out of the way, possibly in the playoffs, which no one was able to do, and he almost made himself a NASCAR champion because of it. But yeah, I'll give him an A+.
I just gave him an A. That's all I'm giving him. So, and the reason why I did that is because he calmed down there at the end until he got back to Martinsville. And then he started showing his colors again, and then, the Chase Elliott deal. But, yeah, I was hoping he'd get eliminated early because I did not want to see no Mickey Mouse move bullshit for the championship. But, yeah, he kind of got held up there a little bit, so that kind of helped. So, yeah, I actually gave out 4 A's. Thanks, Matt. Now I feel like I done mine wrong. So, yeah, he's got an A from me just because I think he really outpaced his expectations from a lot of people this year.
I mean, I feel like it's hard not to give everyone in the championship for at least an A, though.
That's where my 4 are. So
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Next up, Christopher Bell, third in the points. Won at New Hampshire, the Charlotte Roval, and Martinsville. The Charlotte Roval and Martinsville were both must-win situations for Bell. He did it. Made it into the round 8, then made it into the Final 4 when he had this back against the wall. Was the best JGR car this year, at least definitely the most consistent. You can argue Hamlin had more speed, but Bell was way more consistent, and that's going to be an A for Christopher Bell. I mean, the 20 car in, I'd say, probably the last 4 or 5 years has been looked at as the 4th team on Joe Gibbs Racing, and Christopher Bell brought that car to the Final 4. And he did it in clutch situations. Christopher Bell is an easy A for me. Not A+. I feel like if he had maybe a win or 2 more, it would be an A+, or even second in points would have been an A+ for me. Just going to give him an A, but really, really incredible season from Christopher Bell. And Bell made me feel like Matt with this whole Logano thing, because I think I was screaming from the Bell ledge since the start of this thing, like, hey, you better watch out for this guy. And it really didn't look good at a lot of points, but it turned out well for Bell. So yeah, it's an A for me.
For Christopher Bell, I'm actually going to give him an A+. This is my final A+ of all the drivers that we're going to go through. Christopher Bell, when he had his back against the wall, he came in clutch in every single situation, winning Martinsville, winning races that he needed to win, and was probably the most consistent JGR car behind Hamlin, if not at the same pace as Hamlin. And he had a chance at the championship too until his pit crew ended up screwing him. He was fast enough to be up there to run for it. So I mean, it's an A+. He was clutching when he needed to be, and he was so close, but yeah, so far from a championship.
I'm also going to give an A for Christopher Bell. I mean, it seems like a pretty easy one. He was by far the best Toyota all year. Come out with some pretty clutch wins, like Michael said. He had really bad luck in a couple rounds and was able to, like, in must-win scenarios, he pulled it out. So I'm definitely giving an A for Christopher Bell.
I'm going to give Christopher Bell an A. I wish there was a rating in between an A+ and an A, because that's what I'd honestly give him.
A-.
Well, no.
A- is below an A.
Yeah, A-
Oh shit! Oops.
But yeah, I wish there was a rating in between, because this man, while he wasn't the top, he was. If you rated him on a pure clutch thing, his clutch rating would be 99 if you gave him on a scale that Madden or NBA uses. This man's clutch gene just popped off in the playoffs, which you like to see. Bringing the 20 back to relevance was something that's huge this year. Definitely one of the top 2 cars in JGR. So I'll give him an
A. I'll give him an A-. He's my only minus on my list, actually. So that's to make sure. Yes,
For
my
what?
only minus. I mean, he done good. I think he really showed up late. Where did he get his win? I forget. New Hampshire. That was pretty late in the season. So,
but he was like,
He was
he
consistently
got on late.
running
Yeah.
up front.
I'm not like you, Mike. I don't think he had. I think Hamlin had the speed, but Hamlin didn't have couldn't put them together. He couldn't finish what he had. And it seemed like Bell took advantage of what he couldn't finish. It seemed like that's how it fell. If Hamlin screwed up or his pit crew screwed it up, it was Bell that took advantage. So, I mean, yeah, I give him an A-, but an A is an A. So it ain't like he's, worse than anybody else.
we're going next to Chase Elliott. He had 5 wins this year, was the regular season champion. Couldn't get it done at Phoenix, finished 4th in the points. I'm going to give him an A. I'd say with the regular season championship, I was leaning towards A+, but just the stretch that he had in the last 10 races of the season, really, I couldn't give him better than an A. He really struggled in the playoffs and couldn't get it done in the championship race. So I'm going to leave it as an A. Scored the most points this season, had the regular season championship, but really, really honestly didn't perform when it mattered. So just an A for Chase Elliott for me.
I'm going to give Chase Elliott an A-. Yeah, he had the most wins, but to not win the championship with the season he had really hurt him. I know at the point it was a racing incident that ended up ending his season. But, I mean, an A-. You can kind of saw during the playoffs, there was points where he was starting to struggle a little bit, and you could see that the other cars were catching up to him or being more consistent than what he was being in the playoffs. So I'm going to give Chase an A-.
I'm also going to give Chase an A-. Won the regular season champion. That's honestly the only thing that's keeping him in the A category for me, honestly. It was he performed really well until the playoffs started, and that's where he turned into the opposite of Christopher Bell. He was struggling, couldn't put together finishes, and I can't really put him up higher than that.
I'm going to give Chase an A. I was teetering back and forth between an A and an A-, but I think winning the regular season championship and still making it to the final 4, I think that has to put him in the A category, at least for me. It was definitely disappointing for as far as Chase is considering, like how he finished that final race.
You're telling me.
So I'm gonna give him an A, but it is impressive though that that we would be grading, like, for almost every other driver, if they have the season Chase Elliott's having, it's going to be a guaranteed A, probably even an A+. So that just shows you like the quality of driver that Chase is, because I feel like he's graded on a different scale than everybody else on this list.
I gave him an A. Just having the most wins, and he had it going right up till the chase started. Like the playoff started, you saw Hendrick struggling before it started, but when it started, you had the 24 kind of showed up a little bit. Bowman did a little bit, but it's like Chase Elliott didn't get the invite. It's just he got his one win, but it just seemed like he couldn't. He just struggled every week trying to figure out the setup for that track. And I think it's because everybody caught up to Hendrick. I think Hendrick was really good at the beginning of the year compared to everybody else, as was Ross and Daniel Suarez. Them two teams were kind of the best two teams out there, and I just think everybody slowly caught up to him. So he's my last A.
All right, next up, Denny Hamlin, fifth in points, had 2 wins this year, right? What was it, Richmond and
I
Charlotte?
thought he had 3.
Well, he won Pocono, but they didn't.
I still thought he had 3 though. I thought Pocono would have been his 4th.
Let's research.
We have a dispute. Uh-oh.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it right now.
He only had 2. Denny Hamlin going to be a B+ for me. Just had so many struggles in the beginning part of the season. You know, if it was the old 10 race chase format, he would have been the champion. Had 2 wins, a decent season for Denny Hamlin, but you know, his career is not. He doesn't have much time left, and he needs to really try to get on the board and get that championship. So it's a B+ for me for Denny.
I'm lingering between B and B+. I'm going to give him a B+ because there are certain times where he had to overcome his pit crew, and he kind of did. But overall, this season was just hit or miss for Hamlin. And you could see that he was just struggling, and his pit crew wasn't helping him very much. B+ for Hamlin. His championship window is closing fast.
Yeah, I'm going to give a B for Hamlin. It just seems like, like y'all said, his championship window's closing, and it's almost to the point where, I mean, is he going to get it? We don't know. How many years does he have left? Is he going to move more into ownership here coming into the future? Like, we don't know what's going to happen with him for this specific season, though. It's just he was fast. He wasn't quite up there with Christopher Bell. I think he showed a lot of speed at times during the season. He was really fast at Pocono, but then he got DQ'd, and then he had his other wins along the way. So I'm going to give him a B for the year.
I'm going to give Hamlin an A-. I think when you review the whole entire season and look at how bad and how abysmal this man's pit crew was, granted, some of the pit road stuff was him speeding himself. Yeah, but a lot of it.
He put up Wessel numbers.
But I mean, he still had like 30+ pit road penalties, right? Even despite those 6 being his.
I think there's a lot.
Yeah, when you think of how he was able to do in getting to the round of 8, and right then he got to the round of 8, correct? Yeah, like getting to the round of 8 despite having 30+ pit road incidents shows how good of a driver you are. So I'm going to give Hamlin an A-.
I give him a B+, just because I think he had the speed. He was in at Martinsville for the Final Four till literally the last straightaway. So, I mean, if it wasn't for Ross Chastain doing the bonsai move, Hamlin was going to fight for a championship at Phoenix. So, he's got a B+ just because of the speed. Him and the 20 car were, I think, really way above the other 2 cars. And that's even with Truex being consistent enough to be top 5 in regular season points. So, definitely a B+ for me.
Next up, William Byron had 2 wins at Atlanta and at Martinsville, but really, really kind of just faded into obscurity after his 2 wins early. And I think I'm grading him a little unfairly because of how good he started the season and how he kind of just faded away and really didn't do very much. I'm going to give him a C+. Got those 2 wins, first multi-win year, but he really didn't do it for me this year. He didn't show the consistency he needed to in the regular season. So, and then in the playoffs, he ends up with 6 I'm not sure what he's laughing at.
The one above it. I'm pretty sure that might be directed at me.
A few of us.
Yeah, Byron C+ for me. Kind of a disappointing last. You look at how his first 10 races were, and then you look at the next 26. I think that was really where it was disappointing for him. Still got 6 in the points though, which I think I'm grading him unfairly, honestly. But C+ for me.
I'm gonna give him a B-. His being 6 in points with how much he fizzled out throughout the year after his first 10 races is still pretty impressive, but the fizzling out's got to stop for Byron because he needs to be more consistent on the track, because that's what really hurt him throughout the year was he was just too inconsistent. It be basically from 11 to the end of the season. It's going to be a B- for me, almost a C+ if it wasn't for his 2 wins.
It's going to be a B- for me too. Maybe C+ is kind of a little back and forth thing. Like Mike said, he started off really strong in the year, faded during the regular season, then kind of come back on pretty strong during the playoffs and was able to get to the final 8. Had some bad luck at what track was that? Kansas? I can't remember. And he just wasn't able to make it into the final 4.
I'm going to give Byron a B. When
We're probably the same comment.
Oh my god,
that's an A+ driver right there.
A+ to Bradley. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to give Byron a B. When you win 2 out of the first 10 races, your expectations are obviously going to shoot way up, probably way more than they should.
He was the first multi-winner this year, wasn't he?
Yes.
So I can understand how the round of 8's kind of disappointing, but he ended the playoffs on a really good streak. He's someone who I think is going to be really, really, really good next year. I do think
I'm not with you on that. I don't.
I think
that's a different podcast.
It is. I think there's a strong chance he advances really far in the playoffs next year. But I'll give him a B for this year.
I gave him a B, and nothing that really helped him with that B was the 2 wins he got early, because I think he had less top 10s than Bowman, and Bowman missed what?
He
5 races.
had less top 10s than Michael McDowell.
So I mean,
I
don't know what happened. I don't know if it was a crew chief thing, just floating or trying some stuff. I don't know. Maybe they did, but yeah, that's the only reason why he managed to be was
Michael
those 2
McDowell
wins.
had more top 10s than William Byron.
Damn.
Yeah,
he ain't getting his crew
12, chief. Byron 11. That's an interesting stat. And next up will be Kyle Larson, 2021 Cup Series champion, made the Owners Championship Final 4, had 3 wins this year. Gonna be a B for me. I think he did okay, but this is definitely not the year that anybody expected from Kyle Larson. I think people may have been expecting Larson to kind of enter maybe a dynasty of some kind where he would win a lot of races in a couple of year stretch. But really this year kind of was just a status quo year from pre-2021 Larson. Like, it looked like, if you look at the outlook of the season, it looked like, it would have been a season that hits a Chip Ganassi. So it really wasn't that impressive for me from Larson. And so I'm just going to give him a B.
I was losing track because I was texting my mother. Who was the driver?
Right, Ryan. It's Kyle Larson.
Oh, Larson. Okay. Larson, I'll give him a B- because of the fact that he just wasn't the Kyle Larson that we saw last year, where he was completely dominant and basically ran through the field last year. And you kind of saw that he was starting. You saw sometimes during the year where he was pissing off Chase Elliott, pissing off teammates, and it's kind of
just Chase Elliott.
It was mainly Chase Elliott.
There's no plural.
But definitely pissing off Chase Elliott, who's the head of that team. I would say definitely a B- just because he wasn't the Kyle Larson that everyone was expecting him to be after coming off a championship season. Probably a championship hangover, honestly.
I'm also going to give him a B minus. I mean, it's hard to give a guy a good grade when he comes off of a season winning 10 races and a championship, and then comes back and only gets 2, 3, doesn't even make the final 8. So I'm going to give him a what? Jeez. So I'm going to give him a B minus.
I'm going to give Larson a C plus.
Ooh.
Oh,
I think when you
I'd take him that.
I think when you have such a strong season like last year and you're not even able to advance that far in the playoffs this year, I think someone doesn't agree with me, but but yeah, when you go from what he did last year to this year, and he also had the stretch in the playoffs where he did not run well at all. He had I think there were 2 or 3 races where he finished 30th or worse there towards the end of the playoffs. That's just not going to cut it, especially when you're the champion and you dominate the year before. So kind of judging him on the same scale as you would go for Chase Elliott, it's either championship or bust kind of thing, because on a grading scale, because you expect him to be that good. So I'm going to give him a C plus.
I gave him a C. So I mean, y'all are giving him B's. I'm still thinking, and then it gets to Matt. I'm like, I feel a little bit better. It's just based off of last year. I mean, and I'm not going to go as much as saying that it's because he didn't perform like he should have last year. We had a different car. I don't think nobody should have performed the way they did last year, but he's supposed to be one of these dudes out there that can drive a fucking car, any type of car, at any type of track, whatever, and he just didn't do it this year. So, yeah, he got those 2 wins, but I mean, he got them in certain situations. So, if it weren't for that, he probably wouldn't have had those. So, yeah, he definitely got a C for me.
You mean to tell me that I gave Kyle Larson the highest grade out of this?
Yes, you did. I was noticing that every time it get next to the person, I'm like, Mike's still the highest grade so
we
far.
just kept going lower and lower. Michael was a B, me and Ryan were B minus, C plus, C.
Hey, I'm a Kyle Larson guy. What can I say? I love him.
You weren't after Auto Club.
He's a wheel man, I'll tell you what. not after Auto Club or Watkins Glen, though. Next up, Ryan Blaney will get 8th in points this year. 0 wins. Really, to be honest, he came on late, had some good runs there towards the end, but really only going to be a C for me for Blaney. Just the no wins and kind of getting walked over by his teammates at Daytona. His teammate fenced him for the win of the Daytona 500, and he never did anything about it. And then he basically let his teammate win at Phoenix whenever those were 2 chances for him to win. What would you give him an A plus for, Spencer? What the hell are you talking about? The guy didn't win a race. I mean, come on now. I
think we know who he's a fan of this week. Ryan Blaney.
There we go.
See?
Yeah.
Who are you a fan of, Spencer? See?
I'm
giving him a C, though.
I'm gonna go lower than that. I'm gonna actually give him a D plus.
You're giving him the D?
I'm giving him a D.
Who won $1 million a D plus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he shouldn't have won that race though.
Shouldn't have won that situation.
I'm gonna say, yeah, technically he shouldn't have called the yellow like they did either.
The white flag.
No, they shouldn't have, but they did, and his window net was down. That guy shouldn't have won that race.
I'm gonna give him a D plus. Like Mike said, he was getting walked over by Cindric and all his other team, and Logano too. And at points, he just did seem like he was the 3rd best car when he should be at least the 2nd, if not the 1st. Yeah, Cindric, I felt like at points was better than him.
No, at the beginning, maybe. No.
But I mean,
Ryan.
Wrap it up, Ryan.
Blowing smoke over there. You're fucking blowing smoke, Ryan. Stop it. Stop.
But I mean, just everyone expected Blaney to kind of continue to win. He was expected to win races this year and be a contender in the championship. And at that point, he just didn't look like he was anywhere close. That is
today.
that is none of your business, Bradley.
Ooh, he's on that ganja routine.
He's high on life.
What do we got?
Blaney, yeah, I'm gonna have to give him a C-. Honestly, it's to me it would also be a D+ if it wasn't for at least winning the All-Star race. Because he just really, I mean, speed. He was kind of there on speed. I would say he was better on speed than William Byron this year, more consistently.
Absolutely,
but it's just he just couldn't finish races. There in the playoffs, he was kind of starting to choke a lot. Just spinning out, not keeping control of his tire, blowing right rears. So I got to give him a C-.
I'm going to give Blaney a C+.
Oh, shocker, Matt's going high for Blaine.
It was that's not. I don't think that's too outrageous.
No, I
think his pit crew was abysmal as well, especially early in the year. They were really, really bad. I thought it was completely ironic that it was him and Kyle Busch's pit crew who competed for the pit crew championship. Like, all right, we're going to do well when it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That was kind of ironic to me. But you look at how he wasn't able to win any races, and he had a lot of speed for almost the whole entire year. One thing that I want to see from Blaney next year is more aggressiveness. I don't want to see him get obviously like too reckless like Chastain, but I think there's got to be like kind of a boundary that you got to kind of go over.
What's up?
Comment.
Oh God. Quite frankly, I think Ryan's hair is great.
Do it a little bit louder, Mike.
Great.
A little bit louder, Mike. A little bit louder. I want your mom to come in. Special. That's our special guest for the night.
You gotta look at his hair. She's taking a nap right now. I don't want to wake her up, but great hair. All right, Matt, you're done. That's enough.
Yes, I'm gonna give him a C+.
Lady.
I'm giving him a B.
Whoa! What?
Oh,
Just because the speed was there, it's just the luck and finishing it out wasn't. And like Matt said, his pit crew was a lot of it. And you can't blame the tire on him either, because that was mostly how you set the car up, which we know ain't the driver, it's the crew chief and at the shop. So, and when you drive these hard because you're trying to make up for stuff that's not your fault, you're going to blow a tire. I mean, we've seen it at Texas. They proved it's just how fast you want to run and if you're willing to blow a tire. So the speed's there. And no, he was not the third best car. Quite frankly, at times during the playoffs, he was better than Joey. So Joey just got the win to make it to the final four. So I'm giving him a B. And I think he might be one to watch next year because he's probably going to be tired of the bullshit.
Yeah, I have lofty expectations for Blaney next year. I look at him as like seeing like, all right, I had no wins this year in a year where I should be entering my prime. But you look at Ryan Blaney,
and Bradley brought up a good point.
Yeah, he was
second points most of the year. So
the thing about Blaney though is to me is like he's in a time in his career where he's supposed to be like starting to flourish a little bit. And it just seems like he hasn't made that step.
Harvick did until he moved to Stuart Haas.
I would disagree with that because I feel like we've seen in the past that the peak of just racing, sports racing in general, motorsports, is usually like 36 to 40, right? It's usually
exactly.
I'm not saying
exactly.
That. I'm saying he hasn't taken the step up that he needs to take. Like you look at Chase Elliott, he won 3 races 2018, 3 races 2019, and then wins 5 in a championship. That's a step. Blaney won, how many did he have last year? 2, 3?
3, I think.
And then you go down to 0 after, he just hasn't taken that step that I think he needs to take yet. Spoiler for the first episode next year. I think he is taking that step. And I do think that he's going to be in the Final 4 next year. But he just, I'm putting my chips on Blaney. Next up, we got the 14-car Stuart Haas Racing Chase Briscoe. Got a win at Phoenix and it really made it kind of interesting there in the playoffs, just sneaking through each round and then almost winning that Martinsville race. It's going to be a B for me from Chase Briscoe. A good second season. He really didn't do much after his win, but when you look at it, he was very, very close to having 3
What do you mean
wins.
he didn't do much? He helped Kyle Busch get his 1 win of the year.
That's we're gonna get there. But he was very close to having 3 wins. You know, you look at Charlotte and you look at the Bristol Dirt Race. I think Briscoe had a pretty good year. I'm gonna give him a B. I think that was a good year for him and the 14 team.
I'm gonna give him a C plus. Certain times he did fizzle out, and you kind of like
Wessel, blow it. Ron, that's your fucking car, you douchebag.
Hey, no, hold on. Give me some time. Give me some time to explain.
Can we grade Ron now?
Yeah.
Oh, man, you need a fucking mozzarella stick. Calm your ass down.
Try to eat it, Ryan.
Yes, please do it. Please do
that.
Please do.
Please.
I'm gonna give him a C plus.
Stick the mozzarella stick up there, Wessel. Eat it, Ryan. Eat it, Ryan. Ryan, eat it.
He's going to turn the other way here in a little bit.
Ryan, eat it. Ryan, eat the damn mozzarella stick.
Let me finish. Wait.
Okay.
I'm giving him a C plus because there were points at the year where he just was that he would just fizzle out, kind of like Byron. But there were races that he could have easily had 3 wins, like we had mentioned. He could have had Bristol Dirt, and he could have had Charlotte. And you saw the aggressiveness in Chase Briscoe, so you did see the step up from last year. So I would expect to see a little bit more improvement into next season for him. And I'm going to give him a C plus for this year, hoping for just a tad bit more consistency.
I'm going to go the opposite way of Ryan, and I'm going to give him a B plus. Honestly, Tegan might not like this statement, but I think he was the best SHR car this year. I really do.
No,
I
At
would
the beginning,
put him over
maybe. Not at the end.
I would put him over Harvick. Who made it further in the playoffs?
Well, look what kind of luck Harvick had. I mean, crappy ass parts. Let's get real here.
Got the same parts. They'll buy them from the same place. Anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna give him a B plus. I think he started off the year really strong, and I think this is a good step up for him finally getting his first win. And I think we're gonna see SHR maybe kind of come back a little bit next year, hopefully, because these last couple of years haven't been great for them.
I'm gonna give Briscoe a B. If I'd probably give him a B plus if there wasn't like that 6 race stretch where he was either 20th or worse. Because he started out really well. I think he was clearly the second best car for Stewart Haas Racing, right behind Harvick. I'm just gonna give him a B. Not really much to explain.
I'm giving him a B plus. So he really came back compared to last year. Last year he ran like shit. And then you come out and win a race, 4 races into the season at Phoenix. And then he about won Bristol Dirt, Charlotte, Martinsville. If Bell hadn't had his fucking fresh tires, him and Harvick would be sitting with, more wins. So I think he overdid his expectations for this year compared to last year. So yeah, it's definitely a B plus.
All right, next up, Daniel Suarez had his first career win at Sonoma. Had a really, really great season. Kind of a guy that people wrote off and looked at as like not a very good driver, but Daniel Suarez proved it. For me, Daniel Suarez is going to get an A minus for his season here. I'm back up into the A column. Him and Trackhouse, they really proved themselves. I think Daniel Suarez is coming into his own. I look for Daniel Suarez to be in the playoffs again next year, maybe grab some wins at an oval potentially. I look for Daniel Suarez to take another step next year. It's good to see him have a team behind him. So we're gonna go Daniel Suarez A minus.
I'm gonna give Suarez a B plus. I love that he's finally got a team that's behind him. Throughout his whole career in the Cup Series, a team really hasn't been behind him to kind of be like, hey, you can do this. SHR, JGR didn't really help him out very much.
Let's talk about Daniel Suarez in that SHR car. I think it was kind of underrated, the job he did. Because you look at
he did good in that Stewart Haas car.
He did
another year now. I mean, damn.
Yeah, Custer's not doing good.
He was the first guy out of the playoffs that year. He was 17th in points, I believe. And look at how
let's be honest. He got put out of that car because somebody had money.
Yes.
had daddy's money. That's also the president of the company. So, or
Which
vice
is
president,
sad.
whatever he is. It's not sad. It's how the sport is run now. It's the reason why Ty Gibbs is in this sport, but he's got the talent. It's the reason why Noah Gregson's daddy got money. Fucking Brandon Jones, daddy's got money and is whatever he is over Menard. So it's Paul Menard. Fucking it's in his name. It's how the sport is run. Sometimes you're talented to back it up. Sometimes you're fucking not. I will say this, since we're
Sometimes you're
speaking of
Quinn
Cole
House.
Custer, I think Cole Custer keeps his ride next year. I think these last 2 or 3 races of this season helped him secure his ride.
We got a lot of Cole Custer support in the chat. Ryan, what did you grade Suarez? We kind of walked over you.
I said he was a B+ this year. I loved that he had the team behind him, and you also got to see at Sonoma that he's a really good road racer too. And I'm hoping to see some oval wins next year and more step and improvement. I give him a B+.
I'm also going to go like Mike here. I'm going to give him an A-. This is going to be probably my last A for this, I think.
Throw it off, Weston.
Yeah. But no, and like this is kind of like I said earlier with Ross Chastain. This was Trackhouse really like showing up this year and surprising a lot of people. And for him to finally come out and finally get a win, prove that he can win races in this sport and be competitive. Quite frankly, what was it? The Coke 600. I think he was the fastest car. He really was. Had really bad luck. Wrecked. Busher flipped the same wreck, whatever. But I think it's a solid season for Daniel Suarez, and I think he'll get multiple wins next year.
I'm gonna give Suarez an A-. I put him right in the same boat as the Chastain thing with them being on the same team. I just think if you look at the previous season and how he elevated himself to this year, he's a guy I have really high expectations for next year. I think he's going to be a multi-time winner next year. I'm going to give him an A-.
All right, next up. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, if you want to go, we'll go. I'm going to give him a B+, just because I think everybody looked at Ross Chastain carrying that team this year. In my opinion, I think they equally carried it. So, I think he kind of got overlooked when the season started, and he proved that he was, meant to be there at that car. So B+.
Next up is Austin Dillon. Got his win in the final race of the regular season at Daytona. Ended up 11th in points. I'm going to give Austin Dillon a B- just because of how strong he ran in the playoffs. Like he did a pretty good job being 11th in points, and he won where it mattered. Whether the circumstances of it are iffy or not, a B- for Austin Dillon. It's a good season. In a real big surprise, he actually beats his teammate in points this season, which is a little wacky. And but I'm gonna give Austin Dillon a B-. Wasn't a great season for him, but got to win when he needed to, and did well in the playoffs, and showed some good runs towards the end of the season. So B- for Austin Dillon for me.
I'm gonna give him a C+. Definitely the win at Daytona and then a solid run in the playoffs helped him get that grade. If it wasn't for those two things,
he'd have an F.
He'd be way lower, because if it wasn't for Granddaddy's being
he'd be where he's supposed to be.
Exactly.
What, Spire?
He'd be lucky.
No, if it wasn't for those two things, he definitely would have been way lower grade. But the strong run of the playoffs and the win at Daytona helped him.
Well, Wessel was up, and now he's gone. Matt. Oh, wait, stop. Hold the presses.
Stop the phone. What's up? Okay, who was it again? Austin Dillon. Okay, yeah. Austin Dillon, I think he's got to have a C- for me. It's not a great season for him, but I mean, it's
11th in points though.
I mean, that kind of all came on late though. I mean, think of the first 25 races of the year. He didn't really do anything. Was he even top 20 in points? I don't think so. So
he was probably like that at that spot.
I think without him making the playoffs, there's no way he's even like close to that.
We wouldn't be grading him this quickly or at all.
Yeah. No. And to me, it's a C-. I mean, and it's yeah. it's just he got to win. He's good for a win every other year, every 2 years, but that's all you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, I would give him a C- as well. For most of the year, his life in the fast lane should have been like life in the pit lane. This man
Life in the infield
was
care
not.
center. Fuck.
He wasn't very good for a lot of the season. He did get the win, like Mike said, when it mattered most. Like, it doesn't matter how you get it. A win's a win. He was able to clinch a spot in the playoffs. He had that nice stretch there towards the end of the playoffs where he was able to have the consecutive top tens. But I think when you have the name that he does, everyone's going to expect him to be something that he's probably not, which is kind of unfair in a way. But I'm going to give him a C-.
I give him a B, just because he won Daytona. And Bradley brought it up, and it was going to be my point. It's not hard to finish 11th in points when you got people like Reddick.
NASCAR leaves the track green when the track's wet.
Well, it's even after that. You had Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Reddick literally had so much bad luck during the first round that they were guaranteed to be put out. So they all had to win at Bristol. It's not hard to advance when you're just putting around there and passing drivers as they sit there on fire. So only reason why he got the B was because he won at Daytona. I mean, he got to thank his teammate for that one too. So if he weren't for his teammate, his ass would have been in the fucking wall. So that's a B for me.
All right, next up, Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500, made it to the round of 12. He's going to get another B- for me. I mean, it's a strong rookie season winning the Daytona 500, of course, but just really wasn't relevant after that. Didn't do much for me. Just not much to say about him, to be honest. Just a B- for me. Solid season from him, but I look for him not to get a win next year.
I think Wessel's ready to blow some smoke, but I'm actually gonna get, since I graded Blaney as low as I did, I'm gonna grade Cindric the same grade. I'm gonna give Cindric a D+. Besides the 500 win, he really fizzled out.
Besides
really
winning the Daytona 500, does that not hold anything for you?
I did.
That's the biggest race.
But
in
It holds a
NASCAR.
little, but it don't hold a lot anymore because
No.
most of the guys just wreck.
Yeah, you got a point.
There's 10 cars running.
That's why I'm giving him the same grade as Blaney. Just didn't really hold much. I know the 500 is a big race, but when it becomes a wreck fest at the end, of course he's going to find a way to win that race.
And put your teammate in the wall.
And that too. So, I mean, besides a decent run in the playoffs and the 500 win, what else did he really do?
Besides a decent run in the playoffs and a Daytona 500 win.
I'm giving him a D+. I'm standing right behind.
All right, Wessel, save this show.
Save Ryan.
I'm going to give him a C-. I mean, he won the Daytona 500. Great. Congratulations, Daytona 500 winner. He didn't do shit after that, though. I mean, he was very inconsistent by far. Don't listen to what Ryan says, but he was by far the worst Penske car this year. And it's, it's just, you can't really give him high because I don't think he did a whole lot in the playoffs, honestly. He got out of the first round, but yeah.
I'm going to give him a C+. He did win the Daytona 500, which is the biggest race in NASCAR. I mean, it might not hold as much as it once did because, like Tegan said, every single year now, there's just either one huge incident or multiple incidents that just rack up almost half the field. But he was competitive at every single road course. You'd like to see that translate to more of the ovals. He had the one stretch there where he was top 10 for, I think, like 5 or 6 races towards the end of the season, and then he was good in the playoffs. Unfortunately, when he was good in the playoffs, it was after he was already eliminated. But but I'm gonna give him a C+.
I'm giving him a B, and it's just the Daytona 500 helped with that grade. So,
and he's a rookie.
If it wasn't for the win, if it wasn't for the Daytona 500 win and it being that race as a rookie, he wouldn't have got the B. Everybody's agreed that he did not, after that race, he was not consistent enough. He was literally like a fucking yo-yo. One race, he'd be up there running top 10 and passing people. Another race, he'd be going 2 laps down with a car that was still in good shape that he hadn't hit the wall with or nothing. And that's if he didn't hit the wall, because he'd done that a lot on his own, by the way. So if it weren't for that Daytona 500, he'd probably be really teetering on low C. It's the one win, and it's his rookie year. So in my opinion, when you win a race in your rookie year in a new car,
and make the round of 12 too. That's
round 12 don't mean shit when you had 4 drivers, literally couldn't keep it on the track. It don't mean shit. The
3
wind kept
drivers
him with
with
the beat.
concussions.
Yeah, that too.
all right. Next up, Kyle Busch only got 1 win this year. It was at Bristol Dirt under some odd circumstances.
I'm gonna have a
Excuse me,
harsh rating here, honestly.
I am as
Might have the
well.
lowest.
I think we all are. Maybe except for Ryan. He'd be the goofball that'd go with a fucking A.
Kyle Busch also leaving Joe Gibbs Racing at the end of this year really had some runs where he looked promising, but really just had a lot of mistakes that you don't expect out of Kyle Busch. I'm giving Kyle Busch an F. This was a terrible season for him. Really, really didn't do what he needed to do. I think the contract talks definitely affected him during the season. You got to feel for him. If I'm giving Kyle Busch an F, I'm giving Ben Beshore an F- because that guy is a terrible crew chief. But just there was a lot of mistakes you saw from Kyle this year. You saw him spinning out a lot. You saw him hitting the wall. You don't expect that from Kyle. He's one of the best drivers in NASCAR. So it's an F for me for Kyle Busch.
I'm actually going to agree with Mike on that. Just the caliber of driver that Kyle Busch has is you just don't expect all those mistakes that he made. And his 1 win came off of Briscoe getting aggressive for the win and taking him and Reddick out. If it wasn't for that, Reddick or Briscoe is winning that race.
Yeah, I do kind of agree with this a little bit.
So, I mean, and then Ben Beshore was god awful as a crew chief. God awful.
And you assume when Ty Gibbs takes over that car next year, it's not going to be Ben Beshore. It's going to be
absolutely. It should not be. It should not be Beshore at all when Gibbs takes that car over. Kyle Busch with the caliber of driver he is, it's an F.
I'm going to give him a D, maybe a D-. I'm kind of stuck in between, can't really decide which one. But I think he had really strong runs this year, but kind of got sabotaged by his team, like Bradley said. I mean, look at the run at Darlington. He had a really good run at Darlington. I can't really say that they sabotaged him there too, because his teammate also blew up that race while also leading.
I think Kyle Busch sabotaged himself on that one. I think he shifted down while under caution. Didn't want to say it.
And then there was also like just parts failing on his car, and Ben Beshore, fucking horrible, might be the worst crew chief in the garage.
How has he had him now? Because he had a bad season last year too.
His second year as his crew chief. Yeah,
I would argue his last year was better than this year.
Definitely.
But I think the speed was there somewhat. Like he had a good run at Pocono, but that car was illegal. So I don't know. It's just kind of a down year for him being in contract talks, and it's just the way it doesn't sit right with me. The way he's leaving JGR and kind of how they kind of did him a little dirty. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. But he didn't have a good year.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a D-. It's definitely a bad year when you consider it as good of a driver that Kyle Busch was. I think a lot of it has to do with contract talks. That's going to play a huge role in it. He's another guy who had a really good playoff after he was already eliminated. I think that
Bradley's awfully sassy. We got to get him on here.
That's exactly what I was sitting here thinking. He's not the sassy in the party chats.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to get him out from behind the keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
And on the mic.
Put this keyboard warrior on a microphone over here. I like sassy Bradley, so I'm here for it.
I definitely think his car was messed with in a way to kind of hinder his performance. So I think he's going to have a really, really, really strong year next year. My thing is just like when you poke the bear and you rattle the cage, I think you're going to get an old school type of Kyle Busch. I think he's going to be very good next year, trying to prove that he belongs.
Today is the day.
But yeah, I'm going to give him a D-.
Today is the day.
it's sad. I feel like I'm the Kyle Busch fan today. I'm giving him a C, just because it's
How
Kyle
can you
Busch.
give that a C?
Because I don't blame Kyle Busch. You can't blame the driver.
He
Now
made a
toward the
lot of
end, I
mistakes,
think he gave up. It's a new car. Who didn't make mistakes this year with this new car?
True.
So
Ooh.
I think his.
That's what I was saying. Today's the day.
I think a lot of it started out.
Today is one day.
It was the contract talks that kind of got in his head, because he was probably worried he wasn't going to find a ride next year. Because you got to have money, you got to bring the money or the sponsor. Then when he realized that he wasn't going to stay, I don't know as so much as sabotage. It just seemed like they turned his car into a fucking R&D car. Is what it seemed like. So, and then you take the race at Martinsville. That dude was 4 laps down before the end of stage 1. They literally, his tire was coming apart that whole run. So that tells me they put something on that car trying some shit out for next year. So and he wasn't even on the radio. He just didn't give a shit anymore. He was just wanting to get out of that damn car. So he didn't have the best season, but I still got to give him a C just for trying, just sticking it out.
All right, so we're going to do the final 2 playoff guys and then go straight into the CFRL awards ceremony. And then after we do that, we'll go and give some honorable mentions of the non-playoff drivers that we think are important enough to be graded. Tyler Reddick, one of the final 2 guys here, got his first career win in the Cup Series this year at Road America, and then won at the Indy Roval, and then Texas. So 3 wins for Tyler Reddick. But he showed a lot of speed all year, but just had some inconsistencies, had a lot of bad luck with tires failing and whatnot.
We're sure he wasn't sabotaged.
We'll see.
He's pissed off RC a lot.
Yeah. I'm going to give Tyler Reddick a B+, 3 wins, and going on to new pastures. I think he had a strong year. He showed a lot of speed in a lot of different places. And really, Ryan's coughing up a lung right now.
I've been coughing up a lung for like 5 days now.
That's good. But he really is just showing that, road courses are now in his repertoire, and we'll see what he can do at 2311 next year. I look for him to do well. But I'm going to give Tyler Reddick a B+. Incog, this guy, I'm not even going to show this comment on screen.
I'm going to give Reddick a B.
He just says bullshit.
I'm just going to read it. You don't show it.
There you go. Mute his mic real quick. I dare you. Mike's going to mute us all.
But I'm going to give Reddick a B. Like this, I like that he probably. But no, definitely a B. Love that. I love to see that he added the road course repertoire into his repertoire and all that. And there were some times of inconsistency, and then how much he pissed off RC could have decided how good his car was. But honestly, I'm going to give Reddick a B. He had a very good season.
I think he gets a B+ for me, honestly. Come out with 3 wins, a guy who's never won a Cup race before, and then pops off 3 wins in his first winning year. Was one of the best road course racers all year. One of the best cars on road courses all year. Would have had 4 wins at dirt if it wasn't for Briscoe just absolutely sending the mail.
Think about Auto Club as well, Ryan.
Yeah, and then Auto Club. I've really thought he was going to win Auto Club. I'm pretty sure I live bet him to win that shit after stage 1. And then he blew the tire in stage 2 or stage 3. I can't remember. But yeah, it was a really good year for him, and definitely B+.
I'm going to give Reddick a B. My thing is that give me 1 second. I'm trying to do some research while doing this so I can actually give a.
This is why I told you to prepare, Matt.
This is like the one guy I wasn't prepared for,
was
just like the bottom 2.
That was me.
It was you?
Was just like the bottom 2 drivers are the only ones that I didn't run before. I'm going to give him a B. He had 3 wins. So I think when you have that many in a season, I think people are going to expect you to be in probably the championship 4, which kind of would have been I could see why that could be kind of unfair, but then again, you also have 3 wins in the regular season. He's someone who I think is going to be very, very, very strong next season. I kind of want to say it, but I'm not going to, about what I think of Tyler Reddick. I'll save that for further down the line, but I'll give him a B.
All right, so I'm going to change my grade here to what I had. I'm going to give him a B. I had him down for a C, but I forgot that he won Texas. So after he literally announced that he was leaving, so and he won the road course too. So 3 wins, hell. With this car this year, 3 wins is pretty damn good.
That's a lot.
It would have been
A couple
4.
seasons ago, that one got you an honorable mention because 9 and 10 just seemed to be the number that got you the most talked about. So
and think about it, it could have been 4 different wins,
4 or
4
5,
wins
yeah,
on 3 different tracks.
Yeah, he could have 4 or 5. So it seemed like either he gave up at the end of the season, but with not counting the Texas win, or his team did. So yeah, I'll give him a B.
And we got Spencer in the chat just preying on Ross Chastain's downfall. Our final grade, we're going to talk about Kevin Hart, or at least
we got
now.
2.
Do we?
We got Bowman.
We just haven't done
we
Bowman.
do. I forgot about him.
Bradley's gonna be like, I forgot Michael's on my team.
We're going to go to Harvick first, though. Kevin Harvick, 2 wins, back-to-back races. What's pretty consistent all year, just really kind of floundered in the playoffs, had bad luck, and then, of course, had that 100-point penalty. I'm going to give Harvick a B-. It was a good year for Harvick. You kind of hope for better, but 2 wins, better than 2021. Just really didn't perform the way he wanted to in the playoffs. Had that rough thing in rough first round. Really not his fault, though, but I'm going to give Harvick a B-.
I'm going to give Harvick a B. Those 2 back-to-back wins at Michigan and at Richmond really helped his season out. But then the playoffs happened, and the iconic crappy-ass parts comes out from Harvick. And to be fair, I mean, he blew, and that round of 16 was just awful for him. Really just bad luck overall that killed him. If it wasn't for that bad luck, he probably would have made the round of 12 and maybe even the round of 8.
I'm going to give him a C+. It seemed like at the start of the year, he kind of he showed some speed, but he was never really contending for races until those 2 he popped off, bam, bam. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, this guy's like an actual threat for the championship this year. And then he just kind of disappeared again. You can blame it on the parts, however you want to blame it. All these teams are getting the same parts from the same places and the same vendors. So it's really the team putting them together. And it's just, C+ for me.
I'm going to give Harvick a B. I think it was a kind of a disappointing season from Harvick standards, but you were able to still get a few wins. It was obviously the playoffs didn't go the way that he wanted them to. They didn't go the way that I honestly thought it was going to go as well for Harvick. A few things out of his control. I'm just going to give him a B. Let Tegan do most of the talking.
So I gave him a B+, just because of the 2 wins in a row. I think he was the only driver to do that this year, or the first one to do it at least. But people don't realize before he popped those 2 wins off, he was really showing some speed.
Didn't
2 or 3
Chase win
races.
Chase won 3 in a row, didn't he?
No,
he won 3 out of 4. I feel like
that, yeah.
Because there's Nashville,
Pocono,
Atlanta,
him 2 in a row.
Pocono.
I don't think he won 3 in a row. I'm
No,
pretty sure
it may have been 3 and 4. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I think it was 3 out of 4.
I don't know. Look it up, Matt.
Matt's doing it.
All right. I'm doing it right now. Chase won 2 out of 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. He won 3 out of 5. He was first, second, first. You can't get much better
that was
than
quite
that.
a stretch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Harvick was the only one that had 2 in a row this season. So, and he could have had another win at Daytona if one car would have went the other way. It would have got Dillon, and Harvick would have had that one. Well, maybe because they didn't call it, but and he almost won the Roval. If it weren't for that caution, I don't think Bell would have got him at the Roval even with fresh tires. So that's 3 or 4 wins he could have had right there. I'm starting to see that Harvick's starting to get fast at tracks that he ain't been fast at before. He's starting to give away his bread and butter, which is the 1.5 miles and 2 miles. I mean, hell, he was passing cars at the Roval there at the end before the caution come out. So I look for Harvick to be a bigger threat next season, to be honest. I look for Stuart Haas to be a bigger threat. because it helps now that you got a car. You're not the only car putting results in. Now you've got somebody that's doing it with Briscoe. And Amarola, he's just good enough to give info. So he might sneak a win here or there.
What's
But
Cole Custer good for?
bringing
Being
money into the
somebody's-
team.
Bring
Bringing money to all 4 cars. So, yeah, I gave Stuart Harvick a B+, and I think he's going to be somebody to watch next year.
Our final one for now is Alex Bowman. Got that win early in the season at Las Vegas. Really had a pretty mediocre regular season after that. Kind of came on strong at the playoffs until the concussion at Texas. I'm going to give him a C+. Well, I don't think it's fair to give him and Byron the same grade. I'm going to give him a C. Bowman it was a solid year. It was an acceptable year. So it's a C level year for Bowman. Ryan is about to go punch his little sister in the face. But just not what he needed to do. Got that win and did perform well in the playoffs. It would have been interesting to see what his trajectory was. Would have been in a hole if he kept being able to race after Texas. But I'm going to go C for Bowman.
All right, time to piss. I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna give him a
Time
C.
to piss.
Time
Are you going to piss on
No,
Bowman?
I was gonna piss off JB and say it now.
He said, "All right,
No.
fuck it."
Look, there it is already. JB didn't even let us get through the second person's
Yeah.
to give out a
He had
grade
that-
yet. He already had that topped out ready going.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Bowman a C.
Yeah, that typed out 5 minutes ago.
There was the one win at Vegas could have won Coda, but that would have been what people like to call the typical Bowman win. Just backs into it.
I won't call it typical. He just has one fast race and then they just shit on the rest of the year.
But then the concussion happened, so that really kind of hinders his year because he was out for pretty much the rest of the season till Phoenix, and then gets wrecked by McDowell. But overall, his season was solid, so I'd give him a C.
I'm going to give him a C. I'll let you decide what that stands for. And
What does it stand for?
Cut.
no, no.
Bradley said his bread and butter
Win to win.
phrase. There you go.
I mean,
Wins
he's-
away.
Look, I'll give him a C.
I agree, though. I agree with Bradley.
JB had that type for 20 minutes, by the way.
He had it over in a side sheet and had to copy and paste it over. So yeah, it's he had a decent year. I mean, really up until the playoffs. I think the best part of his season was in the playoffs, unfortunately, until he got this concussion. He come off really strong. He was looking like probably one of the fastest Hendrick cars coming into the playoffs, and it just wasn't able to hold it because of the concussion.
I'm gonna give him.
Called
I'm gonna give Bowman a B-. I think a lot of his year was due to Greg Ives being absolute doo-doo.
Oh, wow.
To put it politely, I do think that his season is in a lot of ways comparable to the season that Byron had, from the aspect that I want to see more consistency. Well, you can see how fast both of them are at most racetracks. I just want to see more consistency from him. I think not having Greg Ives as his crew chief next year is going to be something that elevates his game up a little bit. I think he's going to be good next year. I'll give him a B-.
I'm giving him a C. That's just because he started off strong. Then he had that 15 race stretch before the playoff started where he wasn't even talked about, along with Byron. It was apparently, and Larson for that matter, in my opinion, it was a Hendrick deal problem, I guess. He started off strong in the playoffs. I mean, he got through the first round, right? And I don't know if he'd got through the second round even without his concussion.
I think he accrued the second most points in the first round.
Okay,
I think Bell was.
I mean, I think he was top
most points in the first
5
round.
or 6 in all 3 races. So it looked like he was going to be an underdog again, or a hack. So yeah, I give him a C just because to me, if you take out the concussion, he still had an inconsistent season to start with. Now, if he would have fucking got on a tear on those last 10 races and just made it to the final 4, yeah, his grade would have been higher. because that tells me that they were saving their best for the last. But obviously he didn't, so it's a C for me.
All right, so now let's talk about a little bit about our All-Star race first. In a race that had everything against Tegan to possibly win it with high draft at a track where it was really easy for anybody to win, Tegan wins.
Times 4 wear.
Yeah,
Inverting the field. Finishing second in the
everything.
first 2 segments where I couldn't get a guaranteed top 4 starting
Sputtering coming to the finish.
Sputtering at the line.
Everything was against
If you had
Tegan.
sputtered about 50 feet sooner, I would have had your ass.
I'd have blocked. I'd have said, "Yep, here we go, boys. We all reckon."
But what are your
Hello, son.
what are your thoughts on your All-Star win? I know you wanted that one.
It's the last one on my resume. I gotta have it. I've got the Clash. I've got the 500. I've got all the crown jewels, 3 championships. I had to have the All-Star race. So
I won a Gatorade duel one time.
I ain't won one of those yet. So I guess that's next. But it was a good race. It was a little bit nerve-wracking with some drivers driving a little aggressively or not staying in line when they needed to be to help us catch the leaders that had gotten away. So that was a hard-fought race. I mean, even Wessel there at the end was racing like a little bitch. And he was pissed. I understand. I would have done it too, but
I was staying on your right rear that in a whole last run, and I could not get by.
I wasn't letting you have the bottom. I started running like a plate race there at the end to make sure that you.
I mean, I wasn't getting help behind me because JV was behind me.
Well, he wasn't helping me either. He would take the bottom and then he would let up and let you back in.
I
wasn't letting him get the bottom. Like, I know I was running the top a lot that last run because that was the only way I was going to be able to get around you. I just couldn't get to your bottom. But
the top could work if you had.
I would get to his bottom. I mean,
so hard on the top.
Probably pretty easy.
He was running away from me on the edge.
Yes. Hey, turn this shit off. I don't need an audience. But yeah, I mean, it was a good race. I mean, I literally didn't show up till the last segment, so just call me the closer.
And here goes Ryan juggling his AirPods. What are you doing? Serious?
Now we know why they die.
Come on. Listen, I won segment 1 in the All-Star race. So my mission for
passing me on the last lap.
Good move, by the way. You tried to run me off the track. I was like, no,
I
sir. No, sir, we're not doing this.
I could have got a little bit more aggressive with that. I could have sideswiped your ass like you did me at Atlanta.
That's neither here nor there. But my mission for the next, because it was a long time in between the end of segment 1 and the start of the final segment. So there was about a 75 lap window where I could have done fuck all. So like I was just chilling. I was like, oh, you lost the draft. Let me back up and bring you back. Fuck it. Who cares? I kept doing that. Like I would keep backing up and like, it's like, oh, you're back there? You want my draft? Okay. Yeah, sure. I was bored. It was boring. And then I started like texting and then I lost the draft. And then I finished 3rd. But good race for me. Wessel got 2nd, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
Pretty good. I think I was pretty fast for a lot of the race. I know it was high drafts, but I feel like I was there on speed anyways. So I think it was a good race.
And Ryan and Matt weren't there. So now it is time. The moment everybody's been waiting for.
By the way, C stands for concussion.
Okay.
Is that how we're going to grade Kurt Busch?
For the jeez, Ryan.
That was hard.
Too soon, Ryan. Too soon.
He's
still injured.
He is. It is now time for the 2022 CFRL Awards ceremony. Now, Tegan, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go? Are we the only 2 that have the sheet?
Yeah. Riley does, but he's not here, so.
Right. Do you want to like alternate where I'll like lead into the award and then you say who wins it and go back and forth doing that?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay. And hey. Ryan, Wessel, and Matt, you guys can feel free to add any
comment.
Yeah. So the first award we're handing out is the Feud of the Year. Now, Tegan, is there like a list that you can send me of like the nominees so I can just read through all of them?
Do you not have access to the like you're going to vote?
I can.
Yeah, that would give it to you.
Okay. Is that announcements in Discord?
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's not there.
looking or talking around.
That's good. That could be deep.
Hang on. Yeah, you damn right, deep.
We talk a lot in here.
I got it.
Never mind. I got it.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go through the feud of the year first. There was definitely some controversy here. Bradley talking about the All-Star race. I got fenced again by the 9. That's a debatable topic. But
you were apologizing for it last night and admitting to it. Now you're like,
no,
I didn't do it.
I apologize that the move that I made turned out the way it did for him. On my end, I didn't think I did anything wrong, but I can see where, it's a move I had to make. I wouldn't have made it in any other race.
Guaranteed me a win. I loved it.
I wish I didn't do it then. Feud of the year had a lot of options here. You had Bradley versus Predator. You had myself versus Predator. You had Spencer versus Predator. You have Spencer versus Harrison. You have Tegan versus Michael Fox. A lot of great feuds here. But who is going to take the cake, Mr. Jones?
By a long shot, it's going to be Spencer versus Harris. So, I mean, that one blew it out of the water. I'm pretty sure it was over 60 or 70% of the vote. So, it's Spencer versus Harris. I didn't want to finish last.
It had to be, though. I mean, it was one of the funniest things.
That's the one where Harris actually blew the fuck up, because Harris usually don't do that. Usually it's Spencer blowing the fuck up, and this time it was Harris. So.
That was definitely something crazy. And the most iconic part about it, at least to me, was the I don't want to finish last with about 25 laps left to go. So that's what
I want to finish last.
But you get to go off of also what Tegan said. You don't hear Harris blow up like that at all. Spencer definitely.
And that feud actually lasted a couple of races because he got him back at Dover.
Right. He got him back at Dover. Yeah. No, I was actually around when that actually happened. I was in the area when it happened. Go figure, when Tegan or Incog misses a race.
Man, you got to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes.
Or both of them. Crazy shit tends to happen. And go figure, he misses the Michigan race, which tends to be the craziest of the year.
It was last night, too. Because Wessel got mad at Predator, and I was sitting on pit road while everybody else was having a good old fucking time. So I missed it again.
Michigan always.
You have any comments on that, Wessel?
What?
Any comments on last night?
Pay attention. Only comment he's got is didn't miss. On his screen, he didn't miss.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
I agree with. I will agree with the voters. Harris versus Spence was definitely a good one to watch, especially being front row of the I don't want to finish last one.
All right, Tegan, what do we have next?
Rivalry of the year.
All right, there was a lot of options here. We have Tegan versus me. We have Tegan versus Bradley. We have Tegan versus JB, or Tegan versus everyone. Now, this award, it's a rivalry. It doesn't mean in the same sense as feud.
Yeah,
it means more of like a friendly challenge between two people. And it's actually not going to be between two people, because it's going to be Tegan versus everyone. Because I mean, you can put us all 80%. Together. This guy would still beat us.
Hey, remember a couple years ago, Pocono, y'all couldn't catch me, and y'all were all drafting together.
I wasn't me, and I can catch you at Pocono, by the way. But I kept you on your toes in that one.
Yeah, I had to pull strategy to guarantee that one.
Good.
Yeah, Tegan wins too damn much. So that
I agree. I mean, he's your team owner. You can sabotage him, right?
He knows better.
I know better. So, yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
All right, the next award. We got
Meme of the year.
Meme of the year, yep.
Yeah.
You want to play them all, or is that going to be too long?
I feel like
the YouTube algorithm has decided this one. I don't know what actually won the vote.
Well, the votes did too.
Oh, so it was the same?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Because the YouTube algorithm definitely decided this one.
We have, of course, Tegan going giggle, giggle, motherfucker to Michael Fox. We have, fuck out, he just hulked up. We have Harris getting his revenge. We have Harris being Jaws. We have Spencer going, fuck. We have Close, Matt's Mike, and we have KLW
With
going, "Not my
1,500
bar
views
of
on
soap."
YouTube.
1,500 views on YouTube. And let's see if this
Since the
podcast
fifth.
can get that many, because that one's going to win, and we're going to show it to you live right now.
Kid's wasting his time.
Oh, what a delightful day it is.
Not my bar of soap.
It's perfect.
Like I said, that's one of
That's
my
good.
best ones that I've ever made.
did a
Besides
really good
maybe
job
last
there.
year's.
That was really good. I love that.
Gotta
one.
give it to KLW. That's 2 years in a row that he's won a meme of the year award. So
And
I
you
gotta
got
thank
another
him.
one. I don't know if we've made one yet about him going on the wrong pit road at Bristol, but that was a pretty good one too.
Yes. And I was gonna clip one from last night too, and I thought about doing a last minute addition, but now I gotta remember what the hell I was gonna clip. So
He said something wacky at one point.
yes.
I remember what you were talking about, but that'll win meme of the year. Next up, we have Spencer is just putting angry emojis in the chat for no reason.
KLW is a legend.
Oh, speaking of, next award we have is the first annual Ross Chastain Award, which is Wessel's off screen.
It's on his
Ryan
line.
All right. The Ross Chastain Award will go to the most aggressive driver through this season. Tegan, who won it?
Blew it out of the water. Spencer Boyce. Come on up.
The Ross Chastain Award goes to Spencer.
I will say though that there was another driver that got a couple votes compared to Spencer. So
Ryan, what are you doing?
Come look at what trainer put.
Oh man, Spencer, how do you feel that you love Ross Chastain? Clearly, with all the comments you put today, how do you feel that you have the Ross Chastain Award? We'll wait on his response. I assume he's excited. He's gonna be like, "I'm so happy, my favorite driver. I got an award named after him."
next year we may call it the Spencer Boyce Award.
We could.
Just rename it every year.
Spencer
Fuck
said,
no.
Fuck no. Love the first annual Ross Chastain Award winner. And now we are going to look at the cleanest driver award, which is called the Mark Martin Award, because I don't think Mark Martin ever hit a single person on the track.
Not till he got really old.
Yeah, well, he was kind of cognitively impaired at that point, probably how old he was. Who is the first annual Mark Martin Award winner there, Tegan?
Mr. Jarrett Hall. I don't know how you say his last name. We're just gonna call him JB. Jacoby, as I call him. I got a nickname for my little pets. There's RPDP. There was JBDP, but I've renamed him Jacoby. I don't know. He likes to jack me off. But he's definitely the cleanest driver. Even he complains about it. So, yeah, I think everybody else kind of noticed it too. He blew that one out of the water for sure.
Ryan will forever never escape Puberty Parsons' nickname.
Yeah,
No.
that one.
It's
No,
not gonna
I won't
escape that
escape.
one.
There's two
Puberty
that I will
Parsons.
never escape. Is the Puberty Parsons and the Shut the Fuck Up, Ryan.
I don't think
Say it,
that's a
Wessel.
nickname, but sure.
Do the thing, Wessel. Do the thing.
It's not something that it's got to happen organically. You can't just
It's got
force
that. When it happened, it was very organic.
That could you said it right there.
Yes.
Mr. Organic Ryan over here.
it. I should have said it
Plant-based.
earlier when he was blowing smoke. Fucking
Plant-based Parsons.
shut
they
the
call him.
fuck up, Ryan.
There
There we go. Yeah. Plant-based Parsons. All right. But yeah, when I was the one that kind of suggested these awards, the Ross Chastain and the Mark Martin Award. And genuinely, when I suggested the Mark Martin Award, I had
That's another one
JB
that I
in
don't
mind
escape.
whenever I suggested this, because I looked at like him and our battle at Iowa, just was a clean battle for the win, and you don't get that with many guys around in league racing. a lot of times even clean drivers will make moves that are over aggressive for the win, but JB and I had a fair battle for the win. Of course, I probably look at it that way because it turned out pretty well for me. But yeah, I voted for him, and Spencer just keeps rambling about this Frost
Yeah, now he's on Discord.
You don't have to drive him next year.
We heard you, Spencer. Calm down.
JB, who is excited about this award, is not going to drive as Mark Martin next year.
I hope not.
Yeah, he's going to be on the wrong game.
Bub.
Yeah, he's going to do it. I think KLW might boot up the wrong game.
What's the most recent game he was on? NASCAR 2011?
No, probably 2012. 14?
But there wasn't a 2012 game.
He drove in 2013.
Inside line.
Yes, he was. NASCAR 2014.
No, he wouldn't have been in 14 because 14 was the 2014 roster with Vickers. He would have been in inside line.
He drove the 5 car.
Not in 2014.
What?
No,
Casey Kane
No.
was in there by then.
I think
Off the
Mark,
2014 come out in 2013 when he was still driving the 5 car. That's when he'd done a lot of wrecks because he wasn't driving right.
What? That's when Chevy went to the SS. He was no longer in the 5. The 5 wasn't even a car.
Okay,
at
wait.
that point.
Maybe it was
He
2011.
left the 5 after
What?
2011, and then it was in the 55 for 12 and 13.
And then didn't he
Yeah.
sub for Stewart in 14?
Yeah.
Whenever Stewart had his
Yeah,
issues.
we're not counting subbing.
Yeah, so
But
the
he was
last
still
game he
there.
was in was inside line. Matt's
It's
getting
close.
sleepy.
Game
He's
before.
laying down.
I'm not getting sleepy. I'm just
Uh-huh.
repositioning my laptop.
It's determining your throttle points.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I misdetermined that.
This JB is also wrong. Casey Kane started the 5 in 2012. God, SHR needs to get their NASCAR trivia up. Come on, guys.
Shut up.
You guys don't understand the 5 car. Wow,
Yeah.
your team owner is whipping you into shape real
I'm going to
fast.
be honest. You know what Matt looks like right now? He looks like somewhere off camera, there's somebody holding a gun to him, and he's just kind of like,
Yes,
Making him do the podcast.
yeah.
I love Saudi Arabia.
Whoa.
They've been so good to me.
Now we got the
Yeah.
FBI watching.
FBI open up.
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Oh my God.
hey.
We'll have to edit this one.
Are you serious, dude?
He monetized.
Oh my God, Matt. I mean, you can't do that.
No.
Jesus.
Ah.
Where do
Moving
we
on.
go from here? Oh,
Uh,
the most memorable moment.
That's an interesting one.
Our nominees for that were, let me pull it up here. Tegan Jones winning all the crown jewels in the championship in the same season. Bradley winning Bristol to make the Final Four. Spencer not wanting to finish last. Or Tegan Jones winning 18 races in a season. And what is it going to be, Tegan?
Spencer boys, come on up. Not wanting to finish last. I wish we clipped that. We should have clipped that for you.
This man is
Yeah,
racking
found
up
it.
the awards today.
He really
Yes,
is.
he
isn't
is.
He has the Ross Chastain in the most memorable moment of the year award.
And feud of the
don't wanna
year.
Finish last. And feud of the year.
Goodness.
Spencer Boyce is a decorated racer in the Checkered Flag Racing League.
Might as well call
Um,
you the next year. They should be the Spencer Boyce Award ceremony.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is sponsored by Spencer Boyce himself.
Another W for Spencer. He can't get him on the racetrack, so he's got to get him in the award ceremony.
I wasn't going to say that.
I'll be ready for a
That-
win
that's
next year.
brutal.
I'll be ready for a win next
I'm
year.
kidding,
I'm gonna
Spencer.
replay the slip.
I actually think Spencer has a good chance of getting a win next year. Like legitimately. Like he's improving on speed, and he's got a chance at some of these tracks where he's fast at. He's got to clean up some mistakes, and I think he'll be there.
Imagine if we
And his
get a-
attitude.
Imagine if we get a
And his
5-gear
attitude.
car.
Look at this, an appreciative Spencer. Thank you, Spence.
Oh, we should have had a can of Coke.
I'm out. Sorry.
All right. The next one. Yeah. Thank you, Spencer.
Oh, wait.
Oh, he's got
You
one.
go ahead. I think I do have one. I'm just going to go get it.
We'll save that till the end. All right. He can't hear me. Exactly. Isn't that a great point, Spencer? I agree. X.
Now you just got to finish them.
Exactly. Don't, because like I finished 7th a few times in a row, and I didn't go like, oh no. Okay, I stayed in the race and I finished 7th because sometimes you can't win. So, Spencer, I got faith. I believe in you. You have my support.
At Daytona, he's pushing you to the win instead of a teammate.
I'm not doing that. Our next award, the best team owner in the Cup Series. Not many team owners really to pick from here. So, Tegan, you had a little bit of a challenge. You're picking one, but who did you end up coming up with?
I'm going to go with KLW, Mr. Kevin Williams, in the 3-car at RCR, which also owns the number 8 of Spencer Boyce.
Another award going to
That
welcome
Spencer
North
has
Carolina.
a hand in.
Thanks, Mikey Boo. Ooh,
What was this
baby.
award? I missed it.
Best team owner goes to KLW.
Because here, the last couple, 10 weeks that KLW's been here since he's came back, he's been getting on with Spencer, running practices with him, talking him through, how to finish races, even though that ain't worked at all times. So KLW's really stepped up with Spencer. So me and Bradley decided to give it to him.
Great to see KLW get on the board again. The RCR. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you, Spence.
I love you, Spencer. The Cup Series team champion goes to SHR. They average the most points per race. So congratulations to Tegan on getting the team owners championship. You, JB, and Ryan had a strong season across the board. Hendrick would have had a good chance at that if the guy in the 48 showed up, but he didn't. So here we are. And Matt's chuckling over there. But I got faith in you, Wesley. You'll be there next year, right? Please.
Right, please. He said, yeah.
As long as Kroger lets him off.
Yeah.
So that award's pretty bread and butter. You got anything to say, Tegan?
Just good job, team. That's 2 years in a row. It probably would have been better if my guy would showed up the last 3 or 4 weeks as well, Mr. Ryan
We gotta
Parson.
do it again.
Sorry to the dogs at home.
Yeah.
Spencer, talking about the season. Yeah, I guess.
There's one thing I will never have in this league is a poll. I'm the worst qualifier probably in league history.
I'm
last year.
pretty close.
You also have the worst luck when it comes to drivers trying to win on fuel.
Or
Lost
speeding
the-
on pit road.
He
I
lost
mean, it was
the
really just you, though, Ryan. It's
I
just
told him-
you. That's the only reason you bring it up.
Ryan's
Why
over
not?
here tooting his own asshole over here.
In a race where I led 80 of 100 laps.
I just pulled something out of my ass and was like, fuck it, we're gonna go for it.
We got to do an honorable mention here, by the way, because it's not on the sheet. Most poles by 1 goes to Bradley.
By one,
Congratulations,
who was
Bradley.
second?
Do we need to find a joke
Who
that
do you think?
KLW said last year?
10 to 11.
Damn.
A lot of polls. I
How
got
many Daytona
none.
500 poles has he hit out in a row?
8.
It's a
I
lot.
mean, you
We
go
need to
back
break
and
that
see
this
how many
year.
plate races he's got in a row as well
True.
Yeah,
for the last 3
Somebody
years.
needs to break
So
that this year.
exactly.
with this draft, that's the only way we're doing it. Mr.
Matt
Will
said,
over there.
Matt said something that could cancel him, and then hasn't spoken again on this live stream.
He's like, if I stay quiet, we'll forget.
Matt's laying low.
Well, Matt's going to make a comment on this next one.
Did you
'cause I'm
sign
gonna
with
make him.
Yee?
Cup Series
that?
Rookie of the Year. Who's that going to, Tegan?
That's going to Mr. JB in the 41 car.
Congratulations, JB. Honorable mention to Matt, of course, for this one. It was probably second in this standing, right?
Yes. They were the only 2 rookies we had left at the end of the year. So
Okay, well, that makes Matt sound a lot.
no, it don't. I mean, we started
Yeah.
off with 5. They finished
Yeah.
the year out. So that's
Exactly.
That's a
Good job,
compliment.
Matt.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
work,
you.
Matt.
Surprised the second
No, I
coming of
definitely-
Jesus did not come up, by the way.
If that was a vote, and even like if you were able to vote for yourself for like a Rookie of the Year thing, I was kind of expecting that to be a thing. But then again, it was just me and JB, so I could see
It's a
why-
points based.
It's
Like,
points
yeah.
based.
Like even if it was vote based, though, I would have voted for JB. I think he had a very solid year. And to go back to like the cleanest driver thing, I never had a problem with JB, and we raced. Like there were a few races where I was behind him, and he was clean. So much deserved for JB.
He wiped his ass.
Pulled his hair while I was doing it.
Oh, baby.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
A visual demonstration for Maddie over here.
Sorry, JB,
Yeah,
for letting our secret out.
Congratulations to JB. And now
I
Tegan,
knew it.
do you want
I
to go
approved it.
for the Cup Series most improved driver?
This one was not made. The call was not made till like 2:00 at work today, because that's when I was doing the sheets. So I had to make Bradley give me a clue. We went with Ryan.
What is going on?
we went with Ryan
Who was
just
that?
because it's
I was like,
probably
there's a
somebody
fight
next
going on
door.
in the back. What the
Uh,
fuck is going?
I keep Bob Saget.
it went with Ryan just because he finally got that win this year. So congratulations, Ryan Parsons, RPDP.
Hey.
Congrats, Ryan. Next one is going to be, let's do the regular season champions, Tegan and Tegan. So Tegan and Tegan, what do you have to say?
Well, for National Series, let's be honest. Not a lot of people showed up that signed up
If
for a
I
full
was
season.
able to attend, I think I could have given you
Yeah, I mean, we had like 15 drivers show or sign up to be in the National Series. We opened it up for everybody, regardless of what series. If you ran in Cup, I think we averaged like 6 people a week. If we were lucky, we had to cancel races because only 2 showed up or 3. And what gets me is we canceled 3 plate races because of that. So, and usually that's ones everybody wants to show up for. So, yeah, that one was handed to me, even with Bradley missing a few races during the regular season himself. So yeah, that was taking candy from my baby. Sorry, Bradley. You're my baby though.
Heyo.
Oh,
What about the other one?
I mean, 18 wins.
It'll
I
do
don't know.
it.
I think I had 13 before we done the playoffs. So yeah, that kind of helps a lot. And what I don't know how many top 3s I had before I finally broke that streak. So
Where did it break at?
Iowa, I finished 4th.
Mm.
And
That was a
then
good
my
race.
top 5 streak broke at Talladega when I lagged out. So
Right. So our next award, we're gonna do the most popular admin. Came down to all the admins, so that was Tegan, Bradley, Ryan, Incog, and Morris. And congratulations to Tegan. You are the most popular admin this year.
thank you.
You have anything to say?
I feel like I only got that because I'm winning the championship, but I do a lot.
I would disagree with that.
Doo doo. He
because
said doo doo.
I'll disagree with that because I will come out and say that I am somebody who did vote for you, and I think you do a lot. Yeah.
Doo doo.
I think you do a lot
Yeah.
for CFRL. So
Thank you.
Do you have any comments?
did you buy your own $10 PlayStation card?
I did not. I'm taking the 5 playoff points, you little bastard.
Oh, like
Oh.
of course.
I told Bradley because we were going to split it. I said, "You give me $5, and I'll take 2.5 playoff points." But he said no. So I'm just going to take playoff points and just start off in the lead at the beginning of the year. So
Yeah, great.
Great.
All
So
right, next one. Most popular driver that was up for all the Cup Series drivers, and who won that, Tegan?
second year in a row, we have a tie, and it's me, Tegan Jones, and Michael Whitman winning something for a change.
All right.
Do your little wave.
Thank you.
smile and wave.
Had to live up to my reputation of the 9 car.
That's
and
probably
win that.
because we riff off each other during the fucking races and shit.
We
So that
do.
might have something to do with it. So
And I'm just kind of a loud human being, so I just, it is nice to know that people don't think I'm an idiot. Well, they might think I'm an idiot, but they don't think I'm a dickhead as an idiot. Well, they might think I'm a dickhead, but
you're very close.
Mike, you've admitted that you're
I teeter.
Yes.
Teeter totter.
But it is nice to have support, and I assume Tegan will say the same thing.
Yes.
It's always nice to be liked, and I appreciate everybody. Like literally, all these people that I encounter in this league are great, and I wouldn't say all, but mostly everybody here is great.
Jeez.
No, I'm just saying though. There's been Tom.
Get off your fucking high horse.
Am I gonna call Tom great? You remember Tom?
Yeah, I do remember.
I
Tom.
do remember Tom. God.
Are we gonna call him great? No, we're not.
I thought you were talking about like current people.
No, actually, everybody in the league right now, currently, I do genuinely have no problem with. I like everybody here now. But yeah, it just because I consider most people in this league like friends that I've built, like relationships that I've built up over the last 5 or 6 years that I've been here, and it's just it's nice to have people that I like genuinely look at as friends, and
Agreed.
It's a great community, and I'm really happy to win, at least partially win this award.
You finished second to me again. You notice I put the 9 car behind the 4 car, right?
That's
I
where
did
it
that on
always ends up
purpose.
anyway.
But yeah, I feel like I got this one again, second year in a row. Maybe because I win a lot. I don't know. I know I do get a lot of messages on Discord with questions or like people wanting to race or whatever, and I'm usually pretty nice about it. Even though I want to, there are certain people I just want to really bite off their heads because they're a little nim-witted. But no, I have to put on my vice president shirt and vice P. That's what I should have said, VP, and be a nice guy. I let Bradley be the little sassy maddles, as we call them. So I'm kind of like, he's the dad and I'm the mom that has to go behind him, and it's okay, baby. He didn't mean it. So Bradley's going to get so pissed. He's going to kick me out. He's probably playing Kobe right now. And it's probably a good thing.
Yeah,
probably still got it up on his phone.
And then what do we want to do next? We've got the dirt champion, Bradley Domer Jr.
You go ahead and show the whole sheet now if you want to.
I can do that. You'll make fun of me for my tabs, though.
Well, you watching goat porn?
No, I just
don't we do it every time?
I have an unhealthy amount of tabs open right now.
That's not good for your computer.
Thanks.
That's okay. His grandpa and grandma.
Oh my god!
Holy shit!
God Almighty!
Look at all those.
Are you sure them are tabs and not favorites?
Eyesore. This is an eyesore. This is terrible.
This is the award sheet.
Is this what your room looks like?
Yeah, honestly.
Yes.
So there's our champions. Those beautiful stickers designed.
Oh, it's not even. One. Oh no! Oh, everything about this.
You better be talking about his computer and
it's not even. It's not even just the tabs. Look at the bottom bar too.
I know.
Oh my
god, dude! Come on.
Look at the top.
Oh. Ugh. Come on.
Here we go. There's everything though. We're gonna stop doing this so I stop getting attacked for the way I operate my computer. Do we have a segment coming up now, Tegan?
Yes, he'll be ready. So let me try calling him and putting him on speakerphone.
Okay.
Who?
Hold on.
Can y'all hear that?
Yes. Yeah. It's a FaceTime, right?
Hello?
By God, it's like
I can hear you now. So I'm going to put you on speakerphone, okay? And you just do your thing. You ready? All right, go ahead. This is Cameron Morris, by the way. Sorry, no, we didn't get Bubba Wallace, so sorry to
Oh,
Hurt y'all's feelings. Go ahead, S'mores.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, S'mores.
So
I just had an announcement to make. For I don't know how long, but for about 3 years, maybe 4 at this point. I think it's 3. I've been an admin for the Checkered Flag Racing League, and after a rough about year and a half, I've decided to step down as an admin for the Checkered Flag Racing League. And it's been a great pleasure to be an admin in the league. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think I'd be an admin 2-3 years into the league. It's just been I saw a spot open up. I wanted to go for it first time. I missed out. I think it was Mike. I think that was sorry for the noise band background, but I think it was Mike that actually took that spot for me the first time.
Probably. I was there a lot.
Opened up. The second time when I got it, that's back when Austin was in the league, was league owner. And for 3 long years, I've been an admin for the league, and I just wanted to thank not only Austin, but Bradley, Ancog, Mike, especially, who brought me into the league, that gave me a chance back in Heat 2. And made me involved to who I became as a racer back in the day. And again, I just want to thank y'all for the wonderful opportunity for allowing me to be one of y'all's admins for the Checkered Flag Racing League. And I'll never forget it. I'll never got the first race I ran in the league, and I certainly won't forget being an admin in the league. So I'm going to take that as an honor and a pleasure. And I want to thank all y'all for allowing me to at least be an admin in the league. Greatly appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you, S'mores. I don't know. I'm assuming you can't hear everybody else unless you're watching the stream, right?
I'm not watching the stream.
Okay. Well, I'm the only one that can hear you. So I want you to stay with me for this little announcement as well. You are being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year as well. So congratulations.
Thank you. That really means the world to me.
You're welcome. Sorry, don't come with no big trophy. I mean, I'll make Mike make you a banner if that's okay.
I'll do that.
Make what?
A banner, like our winner's banner. So, you'll be the first one to receive a banner. So, congratulations on being a great admin. I know you took this year off a little bit, and you were still involved in some decision making. You've been with the league for a while, and you were really competitive before the NASCAR heat game kept changing on us. So you are really deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. So congratulations. That's coming from me and Bradley both.
Thank you, Tegan, and tell Bradley I said thank you. It really means the world that I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, S'mores.
Thank you, S'mores.
So yeah, it's cool for me, especially because I'm the guy that brought S'mores into this league. Basically, I gave him his first opportunity here, and he won a championship for my truck team and made the Final Four in the Joe Gibbs car at the time where I was during a season at least where I was the owner for part of it.
A couple of those, didn't you?
Yeah, you got a point.
I was there,
but it's just really cool for me to have S'mores in the Hall of Fame, a guy that I brought in, and I kind of led into the league, and I was a big part in him broadcasting, and he was that's another reason why I think he's in the Hall of Fame. It's just the dedication he had,
the
to the
steps
league.
he took. Yes,
exactly.
He was the only one that consistently wanted to do it,
and do it by himself. By the way,
yeah,
which is very hard to do. So
shout out to S'mores. We are going to miss him as an admin. So yeah, Tegan, you got anything?
It's rightly deserved. People kind of forget that S'mores was. I go back and look at the old websites when I was doing stats and stuff. S'mores' name was on there a lot for all 3 series, even as a sub driver. So it's just not that he's getting in there because he's been an admin or that he's broadcasted races for us literally for 2 years, by himself. Now he obviously can't do it now because his internet's a little junky. he was really a winner a lot. I think I remember seeing his name 3 times in a row before for certain seasons. So when he was starting out, so he's all around deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, I agree. We're definitely gonna miss him around. I assume this will stay in the chats just to, communicate here and there, talk about some real life NASCAR. And
he will be staying in Discord, by the way.
Yeah, maybe somewhere down the road we might see him again. Hopefully we do. But big congratulations to S'mores. He is your 2022 CFRL Hall of Fame inductee. Are there any other awards you want to go over?
That was it.
Okay, so we'll go back.
You did go over the Rally Dirt Champion.
Yeah, you were the national champion and cup champion. We all know about you. Congratulations.
Yeah, I know, right? Piss on me, right?
You won enough.
You.
Yeah, you do on me, right?
All right, so we're gonna go back to our grading a little bit. We're not gonna do every driver left, but I'd say we'll do some honorable mentions here. Let's go to Martin Truex Jr., who had a solid season points wise, but just didn't get the job done to make the playoffs. And for that, really, I give an F to Truex, because you can be as consistent as you want in the regular season, but if you're not in the playoffs and you're Martin Truex Jr. in that 19 team, that's a failure. That's just a straight up F for me. So that's me on Truex.
It's going to be a D-. It was almost an F for me. It doesn't matter how consistent you are. The system is you need to win, and he couldn't get the job done. He was close at New Hampshire, but then Seabell ended up coming through with that win. And then Daytona, and he just couldn't get it done. It's a D- for me. Even though he was very consistent, just couldn't get. If you couldn't get in the playoffs with what he did, then D- is definitely what he deserves.
I'm going to give him the same rating I gave Ryan Blaney. It's a C- for me. I think.
Oh, man, we lose West.
Thinking shit.
Yeah, for real.
This one said this grade is bullshit, is what I saw.
Go, Matt.
You want me to go? I don't know.
Yeah,
We're
go,
waiting
Matt.
for him to try to reconnect. I'm gonna give it a D for Mr. Truex. Definitely when you're someone of his caliber, you're almost have to make the playoffs. Like anything outside of making the playoffs, and I would even say outside of like the round of 12 is going to be seen as a disappointment with how big your name is in NASCAR, and then you being the driver of the 19 for how many years that you've been there with JGR, and he failed to do so.
What the hell is happening?
What is going on? All right, now he's
Bill,
My laptop died.
okay, but
I gotta fix it. Oops, that's not right.
He broke it.
Okay,
there we go.
we are.
Okay, so yes, basically with Truex in his name and the repertoire that he carries, anything I would say outside of like around a 12 is a disappointment. Not alone, he didn't even make the playoffs, so I'll give him a D.
All right, Wesley, you want to go?
Yeah, so back to what I was saying, damn, okay. I like having to be able to, hear myself talk. So it's, like I said, I think it's going back to a C-. Give him the same as Blaney because I think he had speed. He really had speed all year. It was just, he didn't get a win. And frankly, there were a lot of people outside the top 16 in points that did. And he just wasn't one that got a win. I think he was really fast all year though. So I'm still giving him a C+ or C-, sorry.
I'm gonna give him a B-. I mean, how you can't not compare him to other drivers that lucky and got a win when he was top 5 in regular season points. If he would have got in the points,
failed.
we'd be giving him a different grade.
He didn't make the playoffs though.
Still, I mean,
So you think 7? If you told Martin Truex Jr., like you said at the beginning of the year, oh, he's going to miss the playoffs and finish 17th in points, you'd say, oh, that's a B- season. No, it's not. It's an F.
it's not an F. I don't see where the hell you get an F. I didn't give nobody in the top 30 in points an F, and you're giving it to drivers.
F.
No,
Big
he still had the speed.
F.
There's no way you can give him an F. I can see a C, but an F, you're just a true X hater.
I actually kind of tricks is growing on me. Ryan, what the hell are you doing? Ryan, jeez. Whoa, look at it fly. Jesus, Ryan. Come on. Stay in the game. We forgot one CFRL award.
Did we? What was it?
Yes. We are having an inaugural edition of this award. It is, some might say, wait, hold on.
Mike's gotta get his ego up a little bit.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know. We have so it's the inaugural version of this award, and some might say it is going to be the most prestigious award in the CFRL from now forward. I would say I think that's a very, very fair assessment on the status of this award. Here we are. Oh, hold on, we got it. Matt, give me your 2 dudes for the CFRL season. Most prestigious award ever, inaugural. Let's go, Matt. And he's frozen. Jesus Christ.
I thought it was just me.
There he is. He's back.
Okay, Matt, are you here?
Yeah, I've been here the whole entire time. My thing was like lagging on my end, so I'm guessing it was lagging for everybody then.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. He's frozen. Nope, there he is.
Oh.
Wait.
I'm guessing I'm
What is
still
going on?
glitchy. Timeout. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
He's about to strip down. Hey, look, you got nice boxers. I thought you were a white dotty guy.
All right.
Matt's 2 dudes is going off the rails.
No, my laptop was dying, so I had to plug it in, obviously, to stop myself from lagging. But I'm good now.
Yes, you're standing
Yes.
up for this?
No, he's on his
I'm-
knees where he
I'm
needs to be.
Technically, like sitting down. But y'all can hear me?
Yes.
All right. So my 2 dudes for the CFRL, I'm gonna obviously make dude number 1 Tegan. Whenever you have that many wins and can win in the championship, that's definitely certainly impressive. And then my second dude, I'll have Bradley. I appreciate him for giving me the chance in this upcoming season to be the driver of the number 5. And also just going off of this past season, I think he was very strong in almost every racetrack. He racked up second place finishes behind Tegan, who was just otherworldly this year. But those are my 2 dudes.
Thanks, Matt.
That was your best 2 dudes ever, just because it's me and Bradley.
That did not go to plan.
Yeah, my
But,
laptop was literally dying as that segment was starting. That was a little bit of a conundrum
Mine
for me
also
there.
done.
We have a hater of the
check mine.
Cowboys in the chat. Spencer boys.
Oh, we do?
That was a little bit.
Wow.
Don't hate on the star.
I mean, everybody does, so I agree with Spencer there, actually. Next up on the grading scale, let's do Eric Jones. I'm going to give Eric Jones an A- here. Good season for the 43 and Eric Jones. Got that win at Darlington. I really look for them to do well next season. So Eric Jones is going to get an A- for me.
With the equipment he was in, he deserves an A-. To win in that equipment at Darlington is pretty impressive. That's a hard feat to do, and we hadn't seen the 43 go into victory lane since the rain out.
Bubba did it last year. You got like it's been a drought.
Bubba didn't win in the 43.
Bubba did not win in the 43.
Oh, that's right.
It's been
He didn't
since
win the
Almirola
43.
It's been since Almirola at the rain out the
Daytona.
Sugar 0400, I think, or whatever. It was the
Are
second
you
day.
jamming there, Wessel?
It was the second Daytona. It was the second Daytona race back in I don't know, 2013 maybe.
2014.
Okay, but I mean it's been that long. It's been 5 years since we last saw that 43 go into victory lane, and this one was an earned win. It wasn't like it was a short and rain race. It was a true win that he ended up pulling out.
Was it earned though?
I'd say.
Who are we talking about here?
But let's Eric Jones.
He had to help. Yes, I agree. 2 very good cars had to blow
The
the
2
motors
fastest cars of that race blew motors within 2
at the
hours
same
of
time.
each other.
Hold on. We gotta hold on for a second. Great comment here from Predator. He's gonna give his CFRL Final 4 grades. Tegan F, JB B minus, Bradley B minus. Come on now, I'm here.
That's
for
why
it.
Pred's not back at Stuart Haas.
I'm not sure what's happening there. Wes, what do you got, Bill?
Bill, let's see. I'm gonna give him a B plus, honestly. I can't give a guy an A who didn't make the playoffs. I know he had a great year. He's not in great equipment, but I mean, the highest grade you can get for me with not making the playoffs is a B plus, and I think he had a great year. He was very consistent. He looked very fast at the beginning of the year. He was really fast at Fontana. I remember that. And then he kind of fell off a little bit, and then he kind of started coming back on, like right before the playoffs started, and into like the first round of the playoffs, he was really fast. But yeah, I give him a B plus.
I'm gonna give him a B. He didn't make the playoffs, so
I got a notification in my phone on the table.
This show stinks.
Well, we went too long. This is our longest episode by double.
This is a
far.
2-hour episode.
Yep.
My computer died. It was fully charged.
And you talk about mics?
yeah, I'm gonna give him a B. Not making the playoffs is a little bad, but I think if he makes the playoffs next year, you got to wonder how far he can actually go, because this man was able to win Darlington. I mean, yeah, he had a few things go his way to be able to win it, but then you look at that round after, he was 6th at both Texas and Talladega, and then at the road course at Charlotte, he was 11th, and he was 8th in Vegas. So if this man can make his way into the playoffs, he might be able to cause a little bit of mayhem. So I'll give him a B.
I'm going to give him a B. Just because he won after the playoffs started. So I'm like Wesel. That's the top you can get if you're not making the playoffs, in my opinion. And really, he's a hit and miss. I don't remember hearing his name after Darlington too many times. So, and I don't remember hearing it a lot before. So, like I said, Darlington, he's really good at that track. I mean, that's his second win there.
Still got 18th in points. So that's second best guy that missed the playoffs. So.
I mean,
and let's face it, like nobody was going to beat Truex outside of the playoffs because he was so far ahead in points.
Yeah.
So good season for Eric Jones. Going to get an A minus from me. We're only going to do a couple more here. Let's do. Oh, we got to do him.
Bubba Wallace.
Bubba Wallace.
No.
He's going to get a B from me. Now, if you grade the first half of the season, I'd say about a D. And if you grade the second half of the season, I might say like an A or A minus, because he really came on well towards the end of the season there. But overall, going to get a B from me. Getting his second win, first one, that people aren't going to have controversial opinions about. No rain.
They still do.
Yeah, whatever. They'll do it.
He was racing Kurt's car.
Yeah, exactly. That dumb shit. Bubba's going to get a B for me. Really, really was good in the second half of the season. And I have big expectations for him. I think he makes the playoffs next year. So a B for me for Bubba.
I'm going to give Bubba a B minus. First half of the season wasn't very strong, but I liked that he started to come alive at the end of near the end of the season, especially Michigan, where he was definitely the fastest car. You can't disagree with me that he was one of the fastest cars out there at Michigan. If it wasn't for the holdup by Logano, and I think was it Larson?
It was Kyle Larson too. Yes, that's part of the reason why he wrecked him.
But no, if it wasn't for those two holding him up, he would have really have. I think he would have ran down Harvick, honestly, and Harvick would have made him earn it, but he would have had a chance at Harvick if it wasn't.
He had plenty of time. He had the last 15 laps of that race to get to Harvick, and he lost time. So shut up, Ryan. You're blowing smoke. Shut the fuck up, Ryan.
Do it again, Wesley.
So I'm gonna give him a B, like Mike. I think he was not really there, and I think all of 20 through 11 just wasn't quite there early on in the year, except for the mile and a half. I think they were good on mile and a half. which really was all of Toyota in general. Was really good on mile and a half this year. But especially in the second half of the season, he really came alive. I think he was the fastest car in both Kansas races this year. His pit crew kind of screwed him out of the first one, but guess what? He didn't have that pit crew for the second one, so he was finally able to win it. And then Michigan, I think he was one of the faster cars at Michigan. And then you look at Las Vegas, where he unfortunately kind of took himself out of it. I think he was probably the fastest car there too. So, I'm going to give him a B.
Yeah, I'm going to give Bubba a B. That's probably the best I'm going to go for non-playoff drivers. To just piggyback off of what everyone else is saying, like his first half of the year was bad, but then his second half of the year, he was really, really good. You look at the stretch where it was New Hampshire, Pocono, the Indy Road Course in Michigan. His worst finish in all of those was 8th. And then he won Kansas, and then even the race before that at Darlington, he was 9th. So if he can make the playoffs, he might be in the same boat as Eric Jones in that he can maybe make a little magic happen. I'll give him a B.
What's going on with the Is he? That didn't look like a very good thing, but Tegan, what do you got for Bubba?
I'm gonna give him a B. I think I had him down for a C, but I'm gonna upgrade it to a B because I'm gonna take the Kyle Larson incident out of the equation because that's what I kind of took his curve down a little bit. It's the same thing with Jones. He won after the playoff started, but he has good speed. If he'll ever get over the Chase Elliott syndrome, where he's always down on himself when he gets out of the car and crying and whining because I didn't win the race, he needs to get over that shit because that gets in your head and it takes him forever to get that shit out. If he ever lets that shit go and just get out of the car and be like, hey, I'll get him next week, he'll be 10 times better. So he needs to do that next year.
All right, well.
We're just seeing ceiling right now from.
We're over 2 hours, so we got to get this.
Yeah, because this right here is about to
do
die.
one more.
I'm going to be the next one with
like-
the fuck up here.
I
Hurry up and get off.
I feel like there's one more we got to do, though. I feel like we got to grade Michael McDowell.
I give him a B+. plus.
I think statistically this is. I mean,
B plus
he won
just
the
because it's
Daytona
top 10.
500 last year, but I think this was statistically his
Still
by
best
far
this
his best
season.
By
season.
far. Yeah.
And
I'm
I
gonna
think
give
he's taking a huge loss next year with Blake Harris going to the 48. So that really
Definitely.
sucks for him.
I'm giving him a B+. plus.
I'll give him a B for that season.
I give him a B.
Michael McDowell was I thought he had a very solid season. Definitely a B.
B.
Anybody else?
I'll give him a B. A B as well.
Okay. Well,
All right, let's get at.
that'll do it for us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We had great views throughout. It was a really good show. I'm not sure when our next one's going to be, but we'll let you know. I don't think we'll have one next week. There won't be much to discuss. If there's a big story or something, then maybe we'll pop in and do like a mini episode here and there. But the plan right now is for our next episode to be like a Christmas episode. And maybe, just maybe, we'll do a Quiztona for that. I know people have been Quiztona got mentioned here in the comments today.
It's Predator. So yeah.
Yeah, we might bring it back from the dead. One time. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you. 17 episodes is about 16 more than I thought this thing would go. So thank you, anybody that's watched throughout this year. Thank you to you guys. I know you 4 have been the guys that have predominantly been here the most. So it's just been a really cool thing to do. And I'm really thankful to everybody that's watching and is giving me the opportunity to host this. And we'll be back very soon. Tegan, I know you're the vice president. Do you have any announcements before we go off into the sunset for a month or two?
Just keep looking at the website. There's 2023 stuff already up on there. So like the schedule is already posted. Fox put in Discord today what the yellow meant. I don't think he knew we had doubleheader. I could have made some money because I think he was willing to pay $5 for those races. So the 2023 stuff's going to be up there. I'm working on a project right now for driver profiles for next year to make them more kind of interactive a little bit to where they update themselves with stats and stuff. So I don't have to do it. So that'll be something that, and if you have not filled out a driver profile form yet, you need to. And if you want to update yours from what it is this year, except for you, Wessel, fill it out again. And Mike, you too. I like you're good anyway with your
What was
YouTube
my favorite
links.
driver? I can't remember. You put it down for something. What was it?
Was it not Quinn Half, or did I put that on Incog?
I think it might have been.
We put
Incog.
that
What
one
was
on
mine?
Incog.
I don't know.
And I made your YouTube something, and I think I done Mike's YouTube different too.
Oh yeah, you made my YouTube. I don't know what the fuck it was. It was weird.
I'll have to go back and find it now and do it and check it out.
But yeah, so definitely check the website. Driver stickers will be released once we know
Where everybody's going.
Well, we know where everybody's going.
Honestly, everybody. Yeah.
Well, they're
Get
headphones.
off
the shit
looking up,
started.
could ya? I'm the fourth fuck up.
But we'll driver stickers will be out once we know whether we're in the 2020
Yeah,
cars
yeah.
still or the next gen cars.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Thank you to everybody from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you all. It's been great, and trust me, it's we'll be back sooner than you think. Time flies this time of year, so you'll be seeing us real soon. So thank you to everybody tuning in. Thank you to you guys again, and I think it's about that time, isn't it?
Yep.
Love you, Spence. Shit. Ow.
What is going on?
Match it, fine.
Thank you, everybody.
Ron's really laying in his bed right now.